This has got to be like the third time now that I've started recording a video, and then I've realised that the mic's not been turned on, so I hate. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of me, Lord Strider. I think this might be the most impulsive video that we've made yet. I literally decided to do this 20 minutes ago, so we'll see how it goes. Today, we will be, as the title and thumbnail suggest, making a monster. So in D&D, obviously any creature that one encounters and that the DM wishes to put in front of the players is called a creature or monster. I don't really know why, but that's what we call them. The DM will want to use stat blocks to represent what their monsters can do and their various abilities and numbers that we assign in different places, and that is all necessary as a DM. So I would strongly suggest that you go onto Google and learn a little bit more before going into this idiot's description, but I will be giving my best to explain what each of the things here mean as we go through. The general idea is to go through each category step by step. I have a random number generator ready, and we will assign various values to each section. Now, this is probably going to result in some horrendous monster, so the last thing that we will be doing is posing to the comments section down below what we should call our creation, and possibly we'll then see it in one of the upcoming campaigns, but I think I'll leave that intro there. If you enjoy this video, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, share with friends, and yeah, let's get into it. Alright, here we are. This is the stat block. Well, I guess this is the stat block, but this is my favoured website. This is called tetra-cube. This is what I used to make all my stat blocks. As my players will know, they incessantly look over my shoulder and I'm making a stat block. But this is what I found to be the best way of doing it for me. As you can see, we've got the main stat block section here, and then as we go down, you've got all of the different categories and things. It can look quite daunting at first, so don't get too anxious. But then we get down to the abilities. This is going to be the complicated section for the random generator part, but I'll come up with something. So first of all, we've got this top row here with name, which we're not going to do for now, size, type, tag, and alignment. Now, I think I want to start with type, just so we know what kind of creature we're dealing with. So with type, we've got aberration, which are things from like space, well, the astral sea, but space. Beast is like animals. Celestial, I feel like that explains itself. Construct, things been made. Dragons, elementals, fae, like elves, things like that. Fiend, devils, demons, giants. Humanoids, anything that resembles a human and has humanoid-like traits and that. Monstrosity, bit of a vague one there, but I feel like something that's also been made but is more biological. That's sort of my mindset of it. Ooze, plant, undead. So let's go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different things. So let's take us over to the generator. We don't want this part. We're just looking at this part at the top. We want 1 to 14. Generate. 12. Oh god, what is that? Okay. 12. 1 to 11, 12. Ooze. Okay. We're working with an ooze. Nice. So let's go with the size next. So tiny, like this big. Small, like this big, like a gnome. Medium, I am medium. Large is about 10 foot tall. Huge, about 15, and gargantuan, anything bigger. So we've got 6 things here. So we now got 1 to 6. How big is our ooze going to be? 4. So quite a large ooze. We are literally a large ooze. Okay. In this instance, the tag I don't think matters all that much. So if you had, say, a fiend type, then the tag makes it a bit more specific. So if you had a devil or a demon, you would specify in the tag section. But I don't think that really matters for an ooze. So alignment. Now alignment is the typical 9, I'll put it up right there now, but alignment is the typical 3x3 9 square grid with lawful, chaotic, and good, evil, neutral as our things. So we want 9 things. I think I'll get up that table right now just so I can look at that, so don't hide the screen. So on this one, I feel like we're going to be having 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9. I think that makes enough sense. So we want 9 things. Bam. Mr. Beast, I better get paid for this publicity. 9. 6. What is that? 6. Chaotic neutral. Okay. Maybe I'll go over the alignment chart at some point, but we have a chaotic neutral ooze, so it does whatever it likes, basically. Chaotic neutral. Sorry if my typing's loud as well. Now, hit dice. Hit dice, basically, is how much health a thing has, how much damage it can take. I don't know why I was looking over there when I was saying that, but how much damage a thing can take. So, I think we say our ooze should have somewhere between 1 and 15 hit dice, and you'll see what that comes out to in number of hit points soon. So 1 to 15. Let's generate 6 again. Okay, 6 hit dice. And because it's large, that means that it has the D10. What do you want? Sorry about that. I now have sausage rolls that I forgot I had. Alright, so as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, the ooze now has 6 hit die, and because it's large, it's the 10-sided dice. So they work in between large, well, size goes to hit die. I'll put up a table over here again as well. But that means that we have 6 D10. So the average on the D10 is 5.5, as everyone knows. So you can look into that more yourself. So we have 6 lots of that for our hit points, plus whatever we decide this should be, which we'll get to later on. Speed. Ooh. How am I going to sort this one out? I feel like we'll leave the armor for now. I don't think an ooze would really have armor. So we'll leave that for a minute. Someone now calling me. What is going on? Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. I received a call and then was completely waylaid and just never managed to get back to it. So we're now back in. It has been approximately just under 24 hours. So I am slightly unrefreshed on what we did. I have edited the last part, so hopefully I know enough. I have, as you can see, hopefully over here. Apologies if I keep looking over here because I've got the screen on what you guys are seeing over here. So I'm going to look there quite a bit. But I've put all of the input that we have so far in. Large ooze, chaotic neutral, 33 hit points as the average of the 6 lots of the D10 as you saw from the table earlier. So go refresh your mind. I know it was only like 10 seconds ago for you to, sorry. But next up, I think I said we were going to do speed. So speed, I think we're going to do 5 times a number between 1 and 12. Because that's sort of, it's really difficult to explain, but I think I'm going to do that because then it gives us how many squares of movement this creature has. A square is 5 feet on the board. I'm probably going to have covered this in the glossary of terms, so go watch that if you haven't seen it yet, but there you go. Let's get this up. Ooh, needed a second. So up to 12, we're going to times this number by 5, and that is its walking speed. This is a quick ooze. Okay, I like where this is going, honestly, because it's not got a lot of health for its size, but it's very fast. So 11 times 5, this thing can go at 55 feet per round. I think, let's just do, should we give it any of these? Let's do a number between 1 and 5, and that'll be how many speed things it has. Right? Does that make sense? So if it's a 1, then it just has its normal speed. But if it's a 3, then we'll add 2 more of these things. So let's have a look. 1 and 5. 4. Oh my god, this is a crazy ooze. Okay, so now I need 4. I need 3 numbers between 1 and 4, basically. Okay, so we're gonna have 3 different numbers. So it's gonna be the third one. So it's gonna have a fly speed. Okay, it's gonna have a climbing speed, and it's going to have a swimming speed. Great. I'm going to put those in now. I'm going to do the same thing I did for the walking speed. Jesus Christ, this is a fast ooze. How? This ooze is so bloody fast. This is a ridiculous ooze. So as you can see, I've now put in its speeds. This thing is so weird. I said at the start I knew this was going to be weird, but I think I was definitely right. Next up, we're going to go for the stats. So I think I will have gone over this in the glossary of terms as well. So I haven't actually made that video yet, but it will have come out 3-4 days ago. So go refresh yourself, and I will now be putting this section in. You can check the tags in the description if you just want to jump to that bit and then come back. Make sure you come back. So right, now everyone's come back from the past video, we're going to go on to the stats. And what I think I'm going to do is 2 times a number between 1 and 12. Because it's my video and I can do what I like. So, let's do it. 3 for its strength, so it has a 6 strength score, which gives it a -2. Okay, next up, it's dex. 10. It's not that dexterous. Okay. Next up, it's con. It's pretty con. It's pretty decent with its con. It is not a smart ooze. It is not a clever ooze. 2 there. And then we have 18 wisdom. So it is very good at detecting things. Okay. And then how does it interact with things? Godly. It is on a godly level of interacting with things. Let's see. I think I'm just going to give it baseline wisdom as a proficiency, constitution, and charisma, because they're its highest stats. Now, skills. Let's see. What do we think for skills? I think we should give it perception. I feel like we'll give it proficiency. Then maybe stealth and survival would kind of work with that. Maybe stealth and survival. I think acrobatics, because it's so fast. And is there anything else? For charisma, maybe persuasion and deception. Maybe it like lures its prey in to be devoured. This is a really odd creature. I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. But condition immunities. How many are there? There are 15, Henry. Oh, wow, that's so crazy. So we're going to pick a number between 1 and 15, and we're going to give it that many. 1. Thank God I don't have to figure out which. So it has immunity to being blinded. That makes sense with its crazy good wisdom score. Great. Sweet. Sick. Next up, we have some of these. How are we going to do this? There are 16. So I'm going to select how many resistances it has. Okay, hold up a minute. It is resistant to all damage. Let's see how many of these 16 are immunities, okay? No, because I was going to do resistances, immunities, and vulnerabilities for how many each. But it's resistant to all damage, okay. It is resistant to everything. Which makes sense because it doesn't have that many hit points. Oh boy, I think it has telepathy because of its charisma, and it's like, I feel like it's got like a luring presence to it, right? Because it's charisma and it's finding of people. And then, so I say we'll do the same thing we did for speed. So 5 times a number between 1 and 12. 9, so it has a 45-foot telepathy range. Nice. And any languages. So there are, give me a bloody second here. There are 20 languages. So, let's see, how many languages does it know? 7. I am going to select those 7 because I just feel like it, and they'll be there in a second. Alright, so I've selected its languages, and as you can see, I've selected these ones here. Common. Common is the English-like language. And then all of these, because I feel like it's quite a secluded, hidden creature. And it doesn't reveal itself, it just sort of devours you from the shadows, right? So I've given it these sort of like deep underground languages that you might find, and abyssal, because I thought, why not? And then I've given it goblin as well, because it also gives me the bit of like a vibe of like, it's an old goblin legend. I don't know why, I was just looking through the languages like, this could be quite interesting. Okay, that's that. So let's just take a quick breather here and plug all of this into the actual stat block up here. Okie dokie. It has a total of 39 hit points, but resistance to all damage. So functionally, it has just under 80 hit points, 78. It's quite quick and quite weak, other than in its luring capabilities. I'm leaning into this now. I'm sort of figuring out the format for this video as we go here, so bear with. It's immune to being blinded as well. Yeah, this thing is an odd creature. So for armor, I feel like we give it a sort of I feel like we give it a natural armor bonus of 4 for its wisdom. That's what I do with certain creatures, where I'm like, this thing sees a lot, so I'm going to give it its wisdom modifier as a bonus to its AC. So we'll put that in there. Now it has a 14 armor class, so creatures need to roll above a 14 to hit it. So not terribly high. I don't know why this is set to 21, but I don't think this creature will be at 21. I think now we're going to go through some of these. Oh, let's actually figure out some of these. So what would it have here? It doesn't have eyes, so it's got to have blind sight. So blind sight or tremor sense, maybe. I feel like let's do 1 to 2. On a 1, we'll give it blind sight. On a 2, we'll give it tremor sense. Okay, we're giving it tremor sense. So it is going to have, we'll do the same range thing. So 12 times 5. Only a 20-foot tremor sense. So it has to fully detect you, and then when it knows you're there, it's difficult to get away. So now, abilities. How am I going to randomize abilities? I think from here, I'm going to take creative control. So I'm going to, based on the sort of premise that we've built here from all of these, from these roles and randomized sections, I think I'm now going to go away, give it a few abilities which I think would fit, and then you can come back in a little bit and see where my masterful mind has gone. For you, it'll be 2 seconds, but for me, I'll take a minute and I'll figure this one out for you, so bear with.
2 seconds later.
Okay, I believe I am done. I think our monster has been created. As you can see, I now have the stat block finished and on the side of the screen here for you. I'm now going to walk you through a few changes that I made, very minor changes, and the abilities and actions that I've given it. So, first of all, I did change its condition immunities, because thinking about some of the abilities that I gave it later on, it wouldn't really make sense if this creature could be grappled, knocked prone, or restrained. So I granted it those condition immunities as well. As for the rest of it, I believe I kept it all the same. Now onto the abilities. So I gave it the amorphous ability. As an ooze, that means it can squeeze between very, very narrow spaces and can get around any sort of caves or I don't know, structures as it sees fit. It can be large, but I feel like it can shrink itself down as well in this way, so it can become very like long and thin and stretch itself out. Next, I have it Cavern Camouflage. So just to preface, these are all normal abilities that I've taken out of the list that tetra-cube generates for you in the list of all possible abilities that are in all the books. So I gave it Cavern Camouflage, which has been specified to the cavernous terrains, and that means that it has advantage on stealth checks to hide in this terrain. So it is not the greatest at stealth, so I thought I'd give it a little boost when it's in its favoured terrain. Next up we have Corrode Metal. Now this one I went out on a bit of a limb here for that one, and I thought, well, if this thing is going to be consuming its prey, surely it would make sense that it is corroding the weapons that are attacking it if they're non-magical, which would explain somewhat the resistances part of it. But so that basically just means it corrodes against all of the weapons that attack it if they are non-magical, as I've said, and it can eat through non-magical metal as well. So I just thought that was a bit cool. Next up onto its actions, so I gave it multi-attack because I decided it was CR7. I placed it at a CR7, a conservative CR7 creature. It doesn't have a lot of hit points, not a lot of armor class, but it packs quite a punch, as we'll see if it can get its abilities off. It's a bit of an interesting one, I think, this one. So I give it Globule Throw. I imagine if it can't catch its prey, then it throws part of itself, dealing acid damage. Obviously, it does not have a very high dexterity modifier, which means it does not have very good to-hit rolls with this. And its range, 20 feet, it's fine because it has its tremor sense. Past there, it has disadvantage up to 60 feet, and then past 60 feet, there's nothing it can do there. You have gotten away if you're away from 60 feet of it. Next, I give it Alluring Presence. This one I did make up, pretty much. So it targets up to 3 creatures near it within 20 feet, so it can detect them with its tremor sense, and forces a DC 18 Wisdom saving throw. Now, this is based on its Charisma and then its Proficiency bonus, which I have now. It's not on here, I don't think, but it's based on its high Charisma, and it tries to get into the mind of a creature, which means it must spend its turn to move up to half its speed towards the ooze. And that will finish when it gets inside and it It is inside, and then it does not use its turn when it's inside. I should probably actually add something where... Okay, I need to make an edit here. Hold on. Jesus, it's gotten dark. So a couple changes that I've made. Post actually editing this, because I realized this did not make sense at all. I've given it understands these languages, and then has its telepathy and emotion, because it doesn't really make sense that it just creates a mouth and it's ooze and then can speak. It uses the telepathy to speak, but understands the languages of these ones here. I also changed this to cavern and sea camouflage, because it didn't really occur to me. Its fastest mode of transportation is in the water, which I didn't really notice. So maybe a sea cavern is in the depths with its hoard, and then it comes out and attacks in the ocean. Maybe it'll get some changes when it's in the ocean, who knows. Okay, Alluring Presence has been slightly edited. A creature can remake this saving throw if it ever takes damage. So once it gets inside, it can remake that save to break out of the control of the ooze and free itself. Now, it is also... A creature is unaffected... Hold on. On a success, they are unaffected to the ability and are then immune for 24 hours. So it can't just consistently charm you and then get you in there. Once you're done, you're done. And anyone who is immune to charmed is unaffected. Which I thought kind of made sense with the charisma side of things, as it's luring you in. So next up, we have its consume ability, where it actually feeds on those who it captures inside itself. So it forces its acrobatics, which it only has a +3 in, with... You know what? I'm going to give it expertise in acrobatics because I can, and I feel like that kind of makes sense. Boom. And also, I think, in persuasion. I don't think it can even fully form sentences, so I feel like its telepathy is more of like emotions, almost. And then it uses its charisma to lure you in and just fill your mind with fantasy. But yeah, so it contests... Went on a complete tangent there. It contests its acrobatics with the target's acrobatics or athletics when they're within 10 feet. Because it's so dexterous, it can move and has a range of up to 10 feet as it extends itself out. And if it catches you, you are then inside, and that's its action. If it misses you, you are granted an opportunity attack. So an opportunity attack is usually when someone leaves your range, you make an opportunity attack. However, its huge exertion due to its lack of strength to try and catch someone means that you can make a strike against it in this moment of weakness, which I just thought was quite interesting. Next, when you are inside, you become grappled and restrained. The escape DC is 15, and it is an action to break out. So once you're in, you're not looking too good. And a creature that ends its turn within the monster takes 6d6 acid damage. Now that is double of the globule throw, so I thought that was kind of fair enough. But I don't know who would... I feel like this thing could pack a mighty punch if it catches someone. So I think it's an interesting one. You might see this in one of my games, any of my players, but I think I'm going to call it there. I am happy with this stat block. As this video comes out, please drop comments down below and tell us what you think we should name this weird ooze, and maybe what you think it should look like as well. I had my own ideas, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. Thank you for sticking with. I am hoping to turn this into a bit of a series of randomly generating, I don't know, dungeons, monsters, NPCs, stuff like that. I feel like that could be quite cool. So leave a like if you think that would be something you'd be interested in. Thank you very much for bearing with, and yeah, this is the base form of the stat block. I may change it, I may do whatever to it, so make sure you get in the comments and send me out submissions for names of this creature, maybe like habitats, loads of different ideas, like what it looks like, anything at all, any abilities you think I've put in wrong and it should be something else that makes a bit more sense, any other abilities extra that it might want, anything at all. Get down there, let me know. For the next one, I promise there will be much more structure to this, and I'll know what numbers, and I won't be just making it up off the top of my head. But thank you very much for sticking around and watching this video all the way through. I very much appreciate it. As the last video of actual launch week, well, later on today I'll have a video concluding the launch week, but yeah, thank you very much for this past week, and going forward, don't expect quite as many videos, but there will still be consistency, I hope. And I think this should definitely be a continuous series. So thank you very much. Do all the good stuff, like, share, subscribe, do all of it, and I will catch you in the next one. Yeah, bye-bye.